Mercedes appeared to be off to a flying start with its 2023 Formula One contender, praising the car for being much calmer than the troubled W13. Yet it does not anticipate being a possible race winner in next weekend's Bahrain Grand Prix. But not being a possible race winner might be a lighthearted comment for a team that looks set to be beaten by Red Bull, Ferrari, and possibly Aston Martin. Things aren't looking that great for Mercedes now, and the people within the team had a lot to say about it. So we all know that Mercedes had a troublesome year in 2022. The W13 has been named as one of the worst cars ever produced by the Silver Arrows. According to analysts and fans across the world, this could be contributed to the bespoken zero-pod design, even though Mercedes might say otherwise. But everything had to change with the introduction of the W14. But has it? Let's dive in and uncover where Mercedes has gotten it all wrong. Since its car debut earlier this month, the team has sought to keep expectations in check, saying merely that the W14 will become a front-runner eventually, and dismissing hopes that it would be back in championship contention this year, following a disastrous 2022. But will they be able to catch up, or will the midfield teams catch up with Mercedes? After a hopeful first day in which it was able to certify that the bouncing and porpoising that had ruined its 2022 were now overcome, Mercedes grew more skeptical on Friday, when both reliability difficulties and balancing issues emerged. According to trackside engineering director Andrew Chauvelin, the crew also battled to keep the car balanced throughout varying track conditions. "We've not had a strong second day. Stopping on track with a reliability issue wasn't great, and we have struggled to get the car balanced well across the changing conditions. We've got some investigations going on to understand why this has been such a challenge today, when yesterday it was fairly straightforward." So it's no secret that Mercedes has been having some issues on track, most notably with Lewis Hamilton, who suffered many instances of oversteer on corner exit. After addressing those issues, it finished Saturday with the second fastest time, courtesy of Lewis Hamilton, who was 0.3 of a second slower than Red Bull's pace setter Sergio Perez, despite setting his lap on one step softer tyres. Day 3 had made up for Friday, according to Mercedes' Andrew Chauvelin, and the team was now back to where it intended to be. Not at the head of the pack, but not in big problems. Nevertheless, it appears that those positives have hidden a deeper issue with the W14 that the team discovered during a challenging second day of testing in Bahrain. "It's certainly not all been easy," Chauvelin said. "The first day was okay. The second day was really tough. Luckily, we gathered it all back together for this final day. We concluded on a really positive note. But we know there's work to do. We anticipated that coming in here, so that's no great surprise for us. We've got a precious few days in between this testing finishing and the race starting where we can try to refine the setup a bit, try to understand a few of those problems, and hopefully come back able to fight properly." But will the right setup create any chances for Mercedes? Or are we talking about a bigger problem here? Something more than just a setup? The latter seems to be the case for Mercedes. Hamilton summarised Mercedes' position going into the season as not quite where we want to be, but it's a good platform to start from. Straight line speed was less of a problem in 2022, but it was still a little bit of a concern, he added, although he was glad that the bouncing had been virtually eliminated. "Bouncing is gone. Sometimes it reoccurs a little bit, but most of the time it's not there," he said. "It's just a much more beautiful world to be in when it's not bouncing, so you can actually see the road ahead, and better for the body. But we do have some pace to pick up in a straight line." When asked to compare Mercedes' current condition to how it concluded testing a year ago, Hamilton claimed it was nothing like the mood of a near crisis. "I just think everyone was distraught at the end of the test last year," he said. "None of us knew what was happening with the bouncing, where it came from. We'd not seen it in the wind tunnel. We were meant to bring a 1.5 second upgrade and we couldn't use it. So that was difficult, and I think everyone left here with kind of their head in their hands. But we got over it and we pushed through. And we had an amazing year of just hustling and everyone grafting. This year we have some things that we need to work on that are still not perfect. We're still not able to match the Red Bulls currently, or the Ferraris maybe. But as I said, it is better. There are things that have changed. The bouncing is gone and there are a couple of elements that have been better so far. Who knows where we'll be next week? Just got to stay positive. We've got to manifest what we want and just continue to push, and that's what we live for. But where will they be next week? And are the results from the test even reliable? Can we be certain that the teams weren't sandbagging to keep their cards in hand? Because Lewis Hamilton finished the last test day in second place, 3 tenths behind Sergio Perez in the underperforming Mercedes, which showed its struggles throughout the laps. During his timed lap runs, the Mercedes W14 was quite twitchy on the exit of turns, as he battled to match the pace of Red Bull and Ferrari on the tougher compound tyres. He ultimately found pace on the softer C3 and C4 compounds to finish second, but despite his early optimism, Hamilton confessed that some of the W13's balance limitations are still there in their 2023 rival. Some of the balancing issues that we had last year are just present, so we've been working through them, he remarked to reporters. I'm really proud of everyone in the team for continuing to remain positive after a tough year last year, and the amazing work through winter for us to arrive and have the mileage that we've had. Mercedes was observed conducting a meeting late into the evening following the completion of the second test day, after what they characterised as a struggle with the car balance throughout the day. Hamilton made it clear that the team had a difficult day, but concedes that there are still some underlying things that need to be addressed. He added, "I think we've had a couple of difficult days, and yesterday particularly was difficult. The first day didn't feel too bad. Yesterday was a little bit more of a struggle. The bouncing that we had was pretty much gone, so that's a huge step for us. But there are still some underlying things that we're working through. It will be interesting to see what Mercedes will come up with for the Bahrain Grand Prix. They will surely try out a few things during free practice to try and enhance the performance of the W14. Will they be amongst the front of the grid? Have they been sandbagging us after all? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. So what is the big underlying problem that Mercedes is dealing with now? Can you guess it already? The team minimised their problem by claiming that the car was outside of its setup window during pre-season testing, but it is discovered by technical analyst Paolo Filicetti that a deeper issue that stemmed from its predecessor. The Mercedes W14 seems to be slightly better than its predecessor, said Filicetti. Huge dynamic problems are visible when they're negotiating the corners, with the rear end of the car behaving unpredictably. According to rumours circulating in the F1 paddock, the floor on the W14 seems to not provide a consistent aero load, resulting in it behaving differently across the ride height variations. And this problem could be the cause of Mercedes' bad performances. As we all know, the floor and underfloor are the most important parts of these ground effect cars. This issue could be affected by the zero-pod design Mercedes keeps using. This exposes more of the floor, meaning it's an even more important part. So, what could they do that gets rid of the problem? Well, most likely an update with a new floor or completely redesign of the side pods. George Russell has already spilled the beans that the update for this will arrive at race 6 in Italy. We can't wait to see what Mercedes has in store for all of us. Will they be able to fix all their problems? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.